guys, and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm sharing with you 7 ways to increase your milk supply if you are breastfeeding or you are expressing. I'm exclusively expressing, so I've learned a lot about my milk supply because you physically see how much milk you get per pumping session. I've learned how to increase my supply to meet the demand that we need, and also I've got quite far ahead with my feeds, which made the whole experience so much less stressful, because at the beginning I was pumping on demand when she needed it, and that delay just made the whole thing so stressful. But I've learned some major things throughout this whole journey, but there's mainly 7 things that I wanted to sit down and share with you to help anyone else that's struggling with their milk supply or looking for tips on how to increase it. So I'm not going to ramble in this intro. Ignore a snoring baby if you do hear it. She's just gone down for her 3 o'clock nap, which I've talked about in our sleep training video, so I'll leave that link down below if you want to check that out. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first point, and probably the most effective way to increase your milk supply quickly, is doing a power pump sesh. So the specific method of doing this is to pump or express for 20 minutes. You then want to have 10 minutes rest. You want to pump again for 10 minutes, and then you want to rest again. And then you can rest and then do it again for 10 minutes, but I don't feel like you actually need to. The best time of day though to do this is of a morning, and I mean morning as in 6 o'clock in the morning, because I think it's like a hormone or something that gets released from your body at that time that helps to reproduce lots of milk. So it's the best time to do it. I know it sounds painful and it's the last thing you want to be doing at 6 o'clock in the morning, but trust me, the rewards really do pay for it. And the reason why that works is because it reenacts baby cluster feeding. Now Heidi has been kind of cluster feeding when she takes the bottle, but because I don't physically breastfeed her, my body's unable to mimic that cycle. So by doing that, you are telling your body that you need more to meet the demand, and it will very quickly recognize the fact that it needs to start making more for you as well. I'd say if you do that for 2 or 3 days, your body will start producing more milk almost that quickly. So definitely try it if you haven't already. So the second point, again, is quite an obvious one, and this is having a healthy diet and monitoring your water intake. She's just stirring around there. So needless to say, eating healthy is definitely going to help, but it's also having a balanced diet. So it's not just eating healthy as in just eating salads, just eating fruits, not eating carbohydrates, things like that. You want to have a balanced diet. So you want to have fruit and you want to have all the lovely good stuff, but you also need sugar, you need your fat reserve, you need to have things that will give you an energy boost, as well as maintaining and being sustainable throughout the day. So you want to make sure that you are eating a balanced diet. So I know that once you have a baby, quite a lot of people are looking at their weight, but you do lose a lot of calories by either breastfeeding or expressing. I think it's 800 to 1,000 calories a day just by doing it. So you're allowed to have sugary snacks. Just pretend that you're pregnant and just say that you need to have them. And my midwife kind of ordered me to have them as well. Once I had my cesarean and I was breastfeeding, she was like, you need to make sure that you are eating donuts. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. So your body needs to have lots of energy, obviously, to make milk. If you are running on nothing, your milk supply really is going to suffer. And in the same way, you need to drink enough water. Now, this is something that I am guilty of not doing. I definitely don't drink enough water than what I need to. I know that I need to increase that, but pumping or breastfeeding will make you dehydrated. I always try and make sure that I've got a drink next to me when I am pumping, because if I don't have a drink, I literally find myself gasping for a drink, I've been drinking for the night or something and woken up and I'm so thirsty. Now, I mentioned this in my things they don't tell you about breastfeeding / expressing video, but having a double pump, electric pump, makes the world of difference. So this is definitely point number 3 for me. And the reason that I say this is because if you are manually doing it, of course, you're going to get tired and you're not going to get as much because it's just so much more hard work, in all honesty. I manually express the first few days when it was just like colostrum, and as soon as I used a double electric breast pump, it made the world of difference. I'm not even exaggerating. It made like, it was life-changing. It literally was life-changing. And I mentioned that video, the one that I use is only like £37, so it's not like you have to buy an £150 electric pump for it to work. Whilst it's not 100% necessary, it makes sure for me that my boobs are like completely drained of milk, especially when you're trying to increase your supply. You want to completely drain your boobs each time, because if you still have milk in your breast that you're unable to get by manually pumping, your body is going to be like, oh, that milk that's still in there wasn't used, I don't need to produce as much, or I need to produce less. Whereas if your boobs are like completely drained, your body's like, oh, we need to like get it up a gear, we need to make more milk. So just bear that in mind. But for me, I found that a double pump made like the world of difference. So I would 100% recommend it. I will leave the link to one that I use down below. I got it from Amazon. It was amazing. Obviously as well, by pumping, even if you're physically breastfeeding, pumping is not a bad thing, because you can store the milk, you can leave it in your fridge for up to 3 days, or you can freeze it up to 6 months, I think. So it's really good if you're thinking about going back to work, or know that someone is going to have your baby and you're not going to physically be there. You can pump the milk for them to give it to them, or you can freeze it for when you're back at work and again you're not able to give your baby that milk, but it still gives them breast milk. It's up to you. So it's not a case of doing it, like, you can do it just to increase your supply and you don't use that milk, but because I exclusively express, then we use that milk to give her for the next feed, if that makes sense. Point number 4 is skin to skin, and there is a reason why the hospitals encourage you to do skin to skin as soon as they're born. It's because it tells your body, well, not only is it amazing for bonding, obviously, it's like the most magical experience, but it tells your body that you need to start producing milk, and it really does wonders for your hormones. But it doesn't have to stop in the hospital. When you're at home, all you need to do is do skin to skin in the same way. And then by doing that, your body just produces more milk. It's really, really magical. And the things that the body can do when you have a baby is mind-blowing. Like, I just cannot believe that I've had this process of being pregnant. My body has like made a baby. I've then birthed a baby, and now I'm feeding a baby. It's really amazing. So I definitely encourage you to do skin to skin, and it is lovely, especially in those early newborn stages, because it's just so lovely and their skin is so soft and they smell so good, and oh, so good. And then they get too big too quickly and then they start kicking around. So enjoy it whilst you can, but it definitely does make the world a difference. The 5th point is that it might seem obvious, but you need to pump often. If you're looking to increase your milk supply, you need to pump often. And it's more about the frequency of how long you pump instead of how long you pump for. So for me personally, I pump every 3 hours for 15 to 20 minutes depending on circumstances, and that for me has been like more than enough. Like, I have a really, really, really high milk supply, and I know that I do because I have like 2 days worth of bottles in the fridge waiting for her to go. So my milk supply has always been really high as well, like ever since the beginning. But that's because I was always encouraged, when she wouldn't physically latch on, to express often. And so when I'm at home, when I was starting to use the electric pump and I was trying to like get my body to make more milk, instead of say doing it every like 4 hours for like half an hour, you want to do it every like 3 hours. For me, that's worked perfectly. You can do it shorter periods of time, but obviously you don't want your boobs to like be red raw or get too sore or anything like that. But for me, what worked perfectly was pumping every 3 hours and then pumping, and then you can do like the power pump where you do it for like 20 minutes, have a break for 10 minutes and then do it for 10 minutes again. Or for me in the early days, I did it for between 25, I think I did it about 25 minutes to start off with, which seems like a long time, but your body just gets used to it. And I went from, on the first week, I would have like milliliters from colostrum, and then I was having like 4 ounces I was pumping of just like colostrum, which was insane. But if you're unable, like, don't let your boobs get too sore and engorged and then pump. You want to pump on a routine, especially in the first few days, or if you're just actively looking to increase your milk supply. So do it instead, like, you could do it every 2 hours for like 10 minutes, something like that, where you're telling your body that you need more and more and more. And drain your boobs often. I always do this before I go to bed as well, because now that Heidi is sleeping throughout the night, I still get up to pump throughout the night, but I do leave it anywhere between 4, 5 or 6 a.m. So it's a long time, because I normally pump about, my final pump is like 9:30. So her dad will continue the feed because we start her final feed at 9 o'clock. And I was just getting sick of like waking up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to like pump. So I completely drain my boobs. And in that pump, I literally get like about 10 ounces of milk. I'm not even joking, like it's a lot. But you want to make sure that your boobs are drained, especially if you know that you're not going to be able to pump for a long time. But to actually initiate more milk supply, you want to do it as often as possible. Do it, if you can do it for longer per session, do so, but that's not what's essential. You just want to do it more frequently, and then try to drain your boobs as much as you can, just because, like I said, if you keep it stored in there, your body is going to think, oh, you don't need that, I don't need to produce that again. So yeah, definitely pump as often as you can. It's hard in the beginning, it gets frustrating and you feel like you've only just done it, but it gets easier, trust me. We're now in week 8 and Heidi is absolutely fine. Like, we have a bit of a routine now, so I know that I can pump at this time, this time, this time, and if I'm unable to, like she won't settle or something, then I can put her in a rocker, or I can put her on my legs while I pump. Like, you make it work, trust me, mums know how to make it work. So it can be frustrating at first and you feel like you've got no time to do it, but do persevere because it gives your baby breast milk. If you feel frustrated or stressed whilst you're pumping or breastfeeding, you're gonna know about it and your body suffers for it, and your milk supply does too. And you need to make time for yourself. You've gone through this whole ordeal, and to be running on nothing and to be frustrated, it just doesn't work. So make yourself comfortable, have yourself a nice bath when you're pumping, put a film on, put a YouTube video on, whatever it is that you like to relax to. So whatever you did to make yourself feel more human whilst you were pregnant or even pre-pregnancy, make sure you incorporate it into your day-to-day life, and just make sure that you feel as much of yourself as possible. And you know, it's just so important to just take care of yourself. Make sure that you're eating enough, make sure that you are drinking enough water. If you're able to have a bath and someone else is able to help you or look after baby whilst you do that, just make sure that you give yourself time to do the things that you like to do to make yourself feel good. And again, you're not going to be able to do that every day. You're not going to be able to run yourself a nice luxurious bubble bath every day. But if you know that every Saturday, because your partner's off, then you know you'll be able to get an hour to yourself, whether that be to go shopping, whether that be to have a bath, or maybe just watch a film in the bedroom, whatever it might be. Make sure that you look forward to that time, but put that time in for yourself. It's so important. And that brings me really nicely onto my final point, and accept help or ask for help. And in my case, it's a case of accepting the help. We were inundated with offers from our friends and family, and I can tell why people might feel too proud to like accept the help, but we don't. Our parents cooked for us in the first couple of weeks. Rich's mum has Heidi for a few hours every Monday. We look forward to that because it means that I have time to have a bath and put a face mask on, and Rich plays the Xbox, and we find time for ourselves, or we'll just watch a film on the sofa together, which again, you just don't find the time to do. But accepting the help, it would be very easy for me to say to her, no, don't have her that often, like it's fine. But people want to, like his mum wants to have Heidi, then, and if she couldn't, she would just let us know. But she looks forward to having her, and we look forward to the time to ourselves. So do accept the help. And not only that, like if you are struggling with your milk supply, ask for help, as in medical professionals. Talk to a lactation specialist, talk to your hospital, talk to midwives. talk to a health visitor, whatever it might be. There are so many resources out there to help you. So find the help, accept the help, ask for the help. It makes a world of difference. And obviously asking for help or accepting the help helps you feel more like yourself, which again will in turn increase your milk supply. So it's one of those things that, although it doesn't seem like it's instantly connected, it really is. And it's so important for you to find time for yourself and to make your body as relaxed as possible for your milk. So that's it for this video. I hope that these tips have helped you. Let me know down below if you have any other tips that I might have missed out in this video. I really hope that it also helps anyone that is looking to increase their milk supply. It can be stressful, but don't let it get to you. And also, if it doesn't work out and you get too frustrated, you can top it up with formula and you will get there. So don't worry too much. I know that obviously I felt like I had a lot of pressure from my midwives and team and that to breastfeed, which was fine for me because I knew that that was something that I definitely wanted to try. But if it doesn't work out 100%, it's, you know, it's one of those things, you can't control it. If you've given it a try, fine. Definitely do try these tips though before you give up, because it made the world of difference for me. I was so close to giving up at the beginning because I just felt like a bit of a cow really, where I was being milked and I didn't feel like I had the time, and I was getting frustrated, especially when Rich went back to work the first time. I was just like really struggling. But now I've got into a routine with it and I don't even think of it. It takes me about 15 minutes. It's done. She has like the best milk that she can have, and it doesn't put me out at all either. And in fact, I like it because if Rich is awake, because like I mentioned, he works nights, so he's asleep in the day, but we do have that period of crossover. So he'll make sure that like I have a bath, or if I'm pumping, he'll be like, put something that you want to watch on, and I'm like, okay. So you really want to maximize those times. But I hope this video has been helpful for you. Give it a thumbs up if it has been, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy mummy and lifestyle type of videos. And let me know down below if there's any other videos you want me to film particularly, because I'm having so much fun filming these like mummy style videos, but I do keep forgetting on things that I want to talk about. So let me know if there's anything that you want to know specifically about my experience, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.